So the last process is, oh, the third process is really lasting the shoe. This is the most interesting part of the process. So typically, so I have my last back on. I have the insole here. I place that back on there, and I usually measure where I want it to be on the back, and I apply a nail to secure it down, just because it moves around and you want everything to be in the same place. So I just, let me pull this up a little. Okay, so I apply a nail right here. So I just move it where I want it to be. Apply a nail. Just kind of hold it down in the middle there. And then if you see here, it comes right against that's where I want it to be on the last. It comes right against the last there. And I'm going to apply another nail back here to hold it in place again. You could use masking tape, but I find that my masking tape moves so much that in the end my shoe is just in the wrong place and I have to do it all over. I'll put it on this side here. Try to avoid the middle piece. There we go. So it's secure right now on the last. And then I do the other side, the same thing to the other side. Okay, so I have them secure where I want them to be. This one is backward a little bit, so I'm going to move it. Alright, so I have them where I want to be, and now I'm ready to, I do the front first. So I'm going to place the front piece here. And see where I want it, so that looks good. I don't want it to be too much behind, so I want it in front here. There we go. There. Usually I use a smaller tacking nail to hold this in place in the center so it doesn't move, so I get the center. So this little piece of, I usually do it at the line, at the thread line, or I do it on, if I still have the piece, which you should still have the piece right there for the lining piece. You should still keep that, that way you can use that to hold your nail in the center. So I applied a nail right there to hold it. Now you should leave a little piece right there of the lining so you can use it to attach the nail. I want I just want to attach them to make sure that they are at the center and about the same area before I start to glue anything down. All right, so I have that there. So typically what I do is I compare the two and make sure that they are from here to here is the same length. It's not, this one is out a little bit more than this one, and I have to figure out which one I want to change. I think I like this one the way it is, so I'm going to move this one on the left. Then I'm going to compare the two again. All right, now they seem to be in the same spot here. So I'm going to go ahead and check the other side. So I'm going to check the side here, and it's pretty much about the same there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply my glue on the back of this. So I apply the glue first to the leather piece. Now to make it stick more, you could run rough lines on the leather to cut it, and gives it more rough surface, so it sticks more to the fabric. Because if it's smoother, it doesn't. It anchors less. So I do that, and I'm gonna go ahead and apply my glue to both surfaces. So, and this is the cement that goes in the bottom. That piece there. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to apply just to the under part of the fabric so it's not everywhere. I'm going to trim that little piece there. So now the glue is almost completely dry. I'm gonna go ahead and put it together. And the reason why I do it before it's completely dry is because I would like to test it, and if I need to move any parts of it, I'll do that. So simply I just stretch it around the mold like that. It's a pretty simple process. At least for mules, it's a lot easier than for sandals. It's a lot easier than for pumps. Pumps are the most complex ones to last. Okay. So I'm gonna have that piece right there. And I'm gonna do this how it's starting to look pretty good, I think. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. And just make sure I'm putting it in the same place as the other one. There. And side. There. All right, so I have the shoes like that. I'm gonna take off the nails and try it on my foot and make sure it fits before I completely glue the second layer back here. I have to glue this other layer, trim and then glue. So let me take this off and try it on my foot first before I do that. So I'm gonna take out all the nails. So it's starting to look pretty nice. Now I'm going to try it on my foot and make sure it fits. And if it doesn't fit the way I want it, I will adjust it. So here we are. So this one looks okay. And this other piece. Okay, so both pieces are okay. This one is actually way better than the right one. The left one, I do have to adjust it a little bit. All right, so the left one was tilted sideways when I cut the pattern. I wasn't paying enough attention, so I had to redo the left side. So I had to recut both the lining and the top fabric and sew it up again. And that happens sometimes, even when things can go wrong. You can mistakenly cut something. You just have to be willing to redo that piece and not just go and think it's okay and then later have a shoe that bothers you. So that part I knew was going to bother me, so I changed that. So the next step is to glue this outer piece, so you pretty much trim and glue the outer piece. I'm going to trim out and glue this outer piece here. So I'm going to trim out this piece because it's pretty long. And you can use a pair of knives, scissors, whatever you please to trim out the excess leather. So there's no bulk on the bottom, so it's pretty much debulking it. Cut all the extra bulk from the bottom. I did this side. I just need to trim out. That way, that way. So once the glue here is down, it's dry, excuse me, I'm just gonna go ahead and press this down so it sticks here, the bottom piece. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this other piece here. Then with the scissors, a knife, you can just trim off the extra bulk here in the bottom. Okay. And then the other side, pretty much the same thing, just trim away any extra bulk that's there. So next I'm gonna put on the straps on the back, and to do this I'm just gonna flip it over here, and I typically like to put it back in the insole, so I'm gonna put it back in there. That way when I put it in, I kind of initially will gauge where it needs to be before I try it on my foot. So I'm gonna flip it over, I'm gonna apply the glue to the bottom of the sole. The insole, excuse me, the bottom of the insole, just being careful not to apply where it can be seen on the inside, on the outside of the, on the side of the shoe. So I'm gonna apply it there, that whole area where I know I'll need it. I'm gonna go ahead and apply. Then I'll just roughen up the edges a little bit to give it so it sticks a little bit better before I put glue to. And I'm doing this using a sharp knife that, you know, just so that the glue sticks a lot better. Right here. So now the glue is dry. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in places where I think they need to be. So the shoe mold, the shoe lash just helps me place them before I try them on my foot. So I just have to make sure I got the right pieces in the right places. So this here is the middle piece. I'm gonna place it about here. And on this other side, I'm going to put the other piece just across. Make sure I have the right one. It's across there. It's going backwards so I know it's the right piece. Then I'm going to put it on my foot and then just make sure that it fits the way I want it to. And then move it if it doesn't. So I am going to take the shoe lace out of this. I'm going to place the heel so that it will be exactly how I'll be wearing it. I'll put my foot in it. The front is great. And then I'm going to go back and fit the strap. I'm gonna go back and take it out, take that piece out. So long story short, my design had a major flaw. This is you know, I am not a professional. I am a real life person making my own shoes, and sometimes I don't think through these things. I think I have made this before, did not have a problem. The many times I've made it before, I did this time because I decided to be lazy and just think I could remember what my strap length was, and what happened, it was too short. So I'm going to do what I should have done, which is pretty much put it on my foot here and make sure that it fits when I try to put it around. That this strap can go all the way around and strap here, which it does now. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut another piece. The piece with the buckle was fine, so I don't need to redo that piece. It was perfect. The piece with the piece that's supposed to have the holes in it was too short, and I just lengthened the pattern, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut some new pieces, sew it up, and be back in business. So I did redo the piece, that piece longer, so now it looks great. And I'm gonna go ahead and try it again. Put the heel there, and I'm gonna put my foot in it and see how it fits again. Be careful. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna go back with my straps that way and that way. So definitely have good enough strap there, and that looks great. So whenever I put the holes on it, it will go in there like that. I just have to adjust this a little bit so that that piece go on, so there's no puckering right there. And the other side looks great. And I'll do the same thing for the other leg. Put my foot in it, and then go with the straps again. So this strap on this side looks really great. It sits very good. On this side, it sits a little bit out, so I have to do the same adjustment that I just did that I would need to do for the other one. And then I'll be ready to continue. Next step is to fill in these spaces in the bottom with cork filler, so it's nice and soft and it gives the padding underneath when you walk. To do this, I am going to mark where my sole will be because I don't want to cork fill over there. So I'm going to just draw a line here with my where my sole will be on both sides. I'm not putting the cork filler over there. So I'm going to do the same thing for this side here. Because I don't want to fill over there. And then here's my cork filler. I got this from, it's very hard. This was probably one of the hardest things to get. And I got this one from Bioflex. It's a company. I got it through another Instagram. One of the crafters on Instagram who I follow. When I was trying to make shoes, she was making shoes, and I asked her for help, and she gave me an email, and it was very easy to order it. So it comes like that. It's already it's already granulated. So I'm gonna go ahead and just apply a small amount in the center of the shoe, like this, just to give it a. And what that does is you just give it a padding on the bottom, so when you walk, you don't feel the edge of the fabric and the leather. So it's good. So I just usually just put it there. You don't need too much. If you don't have cork filler, you can also use. Sometimes I do use just a cork sheet, and then other times you can also use a piece of leather. So you can also use a piece of leather to do this. This just evens out the surface so that when you're putting your sole to, it's not going through a lot of step downs and step ups. So I'll go ahead and finish applying this. So before it dries, I usually just use my hand to smoothen it out and also just roll it on a surface so it's nice and flat.